Looking for nerdy news? You're in the right place.
Great. This guy's gonna be late again.
This is the Nerdy News Rundown.
I got plenty of time.
On today's show, Infinity War, how Marvel is changing Thanos from the comics for the movie. DC Films, there's a Joker origin filming and Joaquin Phoenix might play the Joker. Vin Diesel is set to star as Bloodshot. We're going over all of that, plus mean YouTube comments.
I'm gonna be late!
I'm your host, Josh Lucas, broadcasting live from Uncanny in the King of Prussia Mall, Philadelphia. Let's get this show started. Oh man, oh man, oh man. What is up, all of you beautiful nerds around the world? I'm, of course, Josh. This is the Nerdy News Rundown. We're live. We're running this show live today, and we tried this earlier on in the week, and it didn't go so well, but I think we got it all sorted out. I think we're going to be good. If you check out the show, if you like what we're doing here, make sure to subscribe and check out the show next week. We're going to try to go live every day. I don't know if it'll happen, but we're going to try to go live every single day at around noon. Now, we're early today, but that's because I just wanted to get into it, give it a shot, see if we could do this live thing. And if it doesn't work, then I'll have time to just record the show or whatever. So if you get into the chat, let me know what's going on. Let me know what's up. I want to shout out Uncanny, of course, for sponsoring the show, being a big part of what I've been doing here lately. It's pretty cool stuff. We're going to be having some interesting stuff going on next week for like a live audience and stuff so that people can come in and enjoy the show. But we'll drop more information about that as we go along. But shout out to Uncanny. Great store. 3 locations. If you're in the Philadelphia area, go check out Uncanny. I think you'll totally dig it. So let's get right into the first topic of the day. The first topic of the day is Infinity War related, and it has to do with this guy, with the Mad Titan. Now, yesterday, of course, Entertainment Weekly dropped those 15 exclusive covers and a bunch of articles regarding Infinity War, and it talked a lot about changes from the comics and stuff like that, but the thing I wanted to focus on was a big change for the character of Thanos himself, okay? Now, for those of you that read comics, you'll know about Thanos most likely. Thanos is sort of a nihilist. He really doesn't care about much at all, and he's very villainous and doesn't have a lot of remorse and things like that. And so one of the interesting things for us as comic book fans, we were wondering, like, well, how are they going to make this guy relatable, right? Like, how can you take a comic book villain that is pretty out there, very nihilistic, and make him relatable in the Avengers Infinity War movie? And, you know, beyond that, too, a lot of people have said that Thanos is more or less the main character of the first part of this movie. Now, the movie's going to vignette around. Obviously, it's going to showcase what's going on with the Avengers and different heroes like that. But a lot of it will focus on the Thanos character. Well, revealed yesterday in those articles that are on Entertainment Weekly, and I highly recommend you guys go check those out, it was revealed that Thanos is going to have a big change from his comic book counterpart. The mission that Thanos is on, which we saw teased in that first trailer where he says balancing the universe, right? Balancing the universe. That is what he's about. But it was revealed that something happens to his homeworld of Titan, and in that thing that happens, basically his planet is decimated, destroyed. I believe his race is eliminated. And something basically tied to that event makes it so that Thanos cannot change it. Thanos, very powerful, very wise dude, knows a lot about what's going on in the universe. He could potentially change it, like maybe with the Time Stone or something like that, right? But it's off limits. He can't do anything about it, and he's sort of vowed that he will never, ever let something like that happen again. And he believes that life is flourishing kind of out of control. And this growth of life, which has gone unchecked, has caused the universe to be completely unbalanced. And that is what he's trying to do. And so this is a big change from the comics. First of all, it makes him more relatable. Because in the comics, spoiler alert, Thanos kills everybody on his own planet. He doesn't care. He literally does not care at all. And so this is him caring about his people, you know, and not wanting something like that to happen again, which is in of itself pretty interesting. But also the fact that he wants to kill all of these people and sort of, you know, make a lot of stuff, bad things happen to the galaxy and the universe, you know, by causing a lot of death and destruction. The fact that he sees that as something that needs to happen to put the universe back into balance, that's very interesting. I think that is, you know, arguably a better story than him wanting to impress Death. Because, of course, in the comic books, Thanos is trying to impress Mistress Death, who is this embodiment of death in the Marvel Universe. She won't give him the time of day. She's just throwing all sorts of shade at him. And that's when, of course, the snap, the famous snap where he kills half the life in the universe, the reason he does that is to impress Death, and she's still unimpressed, which is kind of interesting. But let me know in the comment section, guys, like, what do you think about this change in the movies? They're definitely making a big change for the Thanos character. I think not only is it interesting, but it's probably necessary, right? I mean, how relatable was the Thanos from the comics? I really don't know. You know, and if we're building up, you know, 10 years of filmmaking, you know, all of this just hype going into this movie, Thanos can't just be super badass. He has to be, like, relatable. We have to know why he wants to be a villain. All of the best villains in cinema and just in storytelling in general, they see themselves as the hero. That's what's interesting about them, and we can sort of see that side of it through their eyes. You know, that creates the tension, that, you know, this moral situation within us that makes it pretty interesting. So I want to know what everybody in the chat thinks about that. Feel free to drop some comments there. Otto Von Doom says he's actually behind that change for Thanos, which is really cool. Yo, thanks for checking out the show, Otto, and thanks for the comment, man. I definitely agree. I think that it's a needed change. I think it's going to be really, really good. So let's go into the next topic of the day. This all has to do with the Shazam movie. Now, if you've been following what's going on with Shazam, it's been interesting because they're shooting in Toronto right now. There's a lot of outdoor shooting going on, and people have been snapping some pictures, right? Now, originally, the pictures that we got were pretty crappy. They were from, a side angle. They didn't really show us too much. And the internet was pissed. The internet did not like the look of the Shazam costume. And now we're getting a little bit better set photos. So I got this one pulled up for you guys right here. This is a front shot. Now, what's interesting about this, you see the little lions on the things that hold his cowl on there? That's like a little Easter egg for a talking lion that was in the original Shazam comics. And then I want to show you guys this one too. This is a pretty good front angle view of the costume. So first of all, I want to know, hit me in the comments, what do you think about this costume? I mean, this is a better shot of what we had before, but the big problem for people remains. And a lot of people are not liking this because the truth is, if you compare either one of those shots and the costume itself to what is in the DCEU right now, it really wildly seems out of place. Now, I'm going to sort of go into this a little bit here because I'm of two minds about it. First of all, Shazam is the big red cheese, right? He's literally this just super cheesy character. He's a kid that gets put into the body of an adult when he activates the power of Shazam and everything like that. So he is a child. And the version of him as Shazam is sort of like this idealistic version of what he thinks a superhero should look like, right? And so in that sense, and in the sense that, he's this big, cheesy character, I think it fits and I think it works. But I do agree that tonally, it feels like a very big shift from what we're used to seeing in the DC Extended Universe. If you look at the Man of Steel costume, which, has sort of a more shiny, textured look to it, it really does not fit in the same universe of looking at this. This is a straight up cloth costume. It almost looks cosplay, and that's what people were saying online, right? This outfit literally looks like a cosplay. So right now we know very little about what's going on with Warner Brothers and their DC films, just in general. But it's an interesting problem because maybe this film isn't connected to the DCEU at all. We're hearing a lot of rumors, and I'm going to get to in a little bit in this Joker story, that there's a weird thing going on with the DC films where they might create an imprint of sorts, which are Elseworld, non-connected, solo movie type things, right? And on top of that, we're hearing that the studio might be for sale. There's like so much turmoil when it comes to DC films. There's so much uncertainty. And I think fans are concerned because of this costume. So, hit me in the comment section. I'm interested to know what you guys think about all of this. Tony Huggin is saying it doesn't seem really realistic. It's new. Wow, Shazam not connected to the DCU. Yeah, it might be a thing, man. It might not be connected to it. So, I don't personally know. I would almost prefer this movie to not be connected to the DCEU. But then again, I really want like Wonder Woman and Superman to show up. Like, I would love a Superman Shazam interaction because, if you watched the Justice League Unlimited series, Justice League series, part of the fun of the Shazam character was that he's this kid and he's a big fanboy of what's going on with the Justice League. And so when he interacts with them, it's really cool because we sort of connect to that fanboyish charm that he has. And even though he's in that adult body, he's got the wonderment of a child. And so I would love to see those interactions. But then again, it's such a tonal shift from what we're used to in the DCEU that maybe it should be on its own. I've said from day one when it comes to the Shazam movie, this is a chance for them to sort of get back on track, so to speak. They want the heroes to be heroes, fighting villains, hope, all that sort of stuff. The way they sort of tried to course correct in Justice League with the Superman character. This is their big opportunity to do this with the Shazam movie. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about that with you guys. Please let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested to hear what you say in the comment section below and in the chat right now. Do you like the costume? Do you think it's whack? I mean, please share with me your thoughts. Do you want this film to be connected to the DCEU, or are you okay with it sort of being on its own thing? By the way, too, news dropped today that Kristen Wiig is indeed going to be Cheetah in Wonder Woman 2. It's like totally confirmed. I covered that story, I think, even last week, to be honest with you guys. Because that's when the rumors were circulating, and it was from reliable sources. And so I was like, well, this is probably going to happen. And what's funny about that is I kind of thought that that's whack, and it shows another shift in tone, considering her humor and her brand as an actress and what that means. So I don't know. I'm not super crazy about it, but it seemed like the internet wasn't as harsh on that move as they were on the Shazam. So I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about all of that. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, let's get into our third topic of the day. This one's pretty fun. I like this one a lot. This has to do with the Joker origin movie. Now, if you guys don't know, it was released, I think it was like last year, we heard rumors that Martin Scorsese was going to be involved in a Joker movie. Now, this is that movie. Now, he's an EP on it. He's an executive producer. I don't think he has much creative involvement. Originally, people thought he's doing this because he wants to try to pull DiCaprio in as the Joker, which would have been amazing. I would have been completely down with that, right? But instead, we're hearing that Joaquin Phoenix will actually be the Joker, and he's really, really close to finalizing that deal. Now, what's also interesting about this, and what is breaking about this story, is the fact that Todd Phillips, who's the director, claims that this movie is going to showcase the origin of the Joker as a failed comedian in the 80s. Now, this is interesting for a couple of different reasons. One, it makes me think a lot about The Killing Joke. Now, The Killing Joke is an Alan Moore Batman comic book, which is considered the origin of the Joker. It's a really, really great comic. I highly recommend people check it out. It's not that long. It's really not. They also did an animated version of it, which I was not crazy about. There's like a half hour at the beginning of that with Barbara Gordon where they change things from the comics. It's like kind of whack, to be completely honest with you. But if you skip that half hour, the back half of that animated movie is like a straight up adaptation of what happened in The Killing Joke, right? So The Killing Joke is a really good book, and it shows that the Joker was this comedian who couldn't do it. He couldn't get people to laugh at him at all. And, his wife's having a baby and they're suffering a lot. And so he decides to take this job as the Red Hood. And the idea is that he's going to do one job with these criminals because he knows this place that he works, blah, blah, blah. He falls into this vat of liquid, which turns him into the Joker, right? And so it's a great, great comic, a great story. And it would appear that that is what we're going to get with this Joker movie, which I'm pretty excited. But with this story also comes the fact that this will probably be in this imprint, which is not connected to the DCEU. I mean, we have Jared Leto as the Joker in the DCEU. If, that's their canon, right? He's their Joker. And so this story, what people are saying is that this is going to be this new imprint for DC Comics. It has nothing to do with the DCEU. It is instead going to focus on telling different stories, non-connected solo stories. And so that is an aspect to the story as well, right? You're getting a Joker origin movie, the Martin Scorsese movie, which is not connected to the DCEU. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. I'm pretty interested to hear what people think about this. Just go through some of the comments here. I think the Joker movie has a lot of potential. Martin Scorsese behind it, of course. Don't know if they should be releasing Killing Joke adaptation so much after the animated adaptation. Yeah, that first half was terrible. But yeah, so it looks like people are interested in that. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you're watching this live or later, what do you think about this story? Are you down with Joaquin Phoenix? By the way, I think he would kill it, no pun intended, as the Joker. I think he would be fantastic. The range on that dude, wow, that dude is a great actor. So I think he would nail it. It would be a very interesting take. If Scorsese can sort of bring his flair, his flavor into the thing, I'd appreciate that a lot as a student of film, as someone who loves movies. So that could be really, really cool. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about this story and all of its aspects in the comment section below. It's pretty interesting to me, but I want to know what all of you guys think about it, okay? Now, let's get in to the fourth topic of the day. This one's pretty cool, comic book related as well. It is being reported that Vin Diesel has signed on to be Bloodshot in the coming Valiant movie. Now, Valiant Comics, for those of you that are not familiar, they're a pretty big publishing house. They have their own universe, shared universe, a bunch of cool characters. I actually really like Bloodshot. I really like that book, going all the way back to the original stuff, and then the rebooted version, which they put a really, really good writer on it. I'm blanking on the name right now, but even the reboot where he loses the nanites and he has to go around and get the nanites, it's pretty cool. But essentially, the story of Bloodshot has to do with this guy who's like a government killing agent, and he has these nanites, which are like little nano machines that run through his body, and they give him enhanced strength, enhanced vision, all these different things, your basic superhero attributes, right? But what's interesting about the story, especially in the original, is they keep wiping his memory and giving him fake memories of a family or something that's going on to give him something to fight for. And then when he realizes that, he sort of goes his own way, and the government's constantly trying to get him back into the Bloodshot program and everything like that. It's pretty freaking cool, actually. And so Valiant, we heard about this, I think it was 3 years ago. God, time flies. But Sony did a 5-picture deal with Valiant Comics. And so Valiant, for a long time, has been saying, well, we cannot wait to do a version of the MCU, but with our characters. And the truth is, if they do that, which it looks like they are moving forward with that, it's going to be much darker, much grittier. I'd say it's more like the MCU stuff that's on Netflix. By the way, Jessica Jones is pretty good. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I like it a lot. So the way that those characters are much darker, deal with a lot more adult content, there's a lot more violence and sex and different things like that. I think that's what you can expect from the Valiant movies. And Vin Diesel, I mean, come on, Vin Diesel not only is a huge nerd, he's a fan favorite. We love him. I mean, he's awesome in the Fast and Furious movies. I think he's great as Groot. I know he doesn't really do much as Groot, but I think it's pretty cool. So him as Bloodshot makes total sense. It makes total sense, and I cannot wait. Honestly, I think this is a really good move. It brings sort of some star power to it. Valiant, man, they're I don't want to say struggling. They've just recently removed someone in power over there at the comic book division, and so they're sort of just having the everyday struggles that industry is having, but they don't have the same pool that like a Marvel or DC character has. Like if you just put a Bloodshot image up there, it's not going to resonate the same way as like Batman, Captain America, Iron Man, that sort of stuff. So I think grabbing Vin Diesel is a huge move for them. It is massively big. It will bring the star power that they need to that movie. And honestly, I can't wait for them to start doing that because I want to see what it looks like. I want to see, a trailer. I need to see it as a fan of Bloodshot, as a fan of Valiant Comics. I'm incredibly excited to check that out. So let me know in the chat if you guys are excited to see Vin Diesel as Bloodshot in that coming Sony movie, or do you just distrust Sony so much? There's a lot of weird distrust of Sony, right? People are not super down with Sony these days. So, yeah, so I'm seeing some people chat in there. I can't quite see if there's anything going on about Valiant Comics. But if you're watching this later, let me know. Drop a comment. Definitely willing to check out what you have to say about all of that. Okay, so let me see here. Let's get in to the last topic of the day. Now, the last topic of the day, guys, this is kind of a fun thing that we like to do every Friday on the show, and this is read some mean YouTube comments. And what I always tell people is, the thing about it is, look, anytime you start putting content out there, anytime you start doing stuff online, you're going to attract some negativity. There's always going to be people that are mean to you online. And I say, don't let that affect you. Do what you have to do. And you can actually interact with these people and not be a total dick about it. Wouldn't that be crazy? But anyways, let's go to this first one here. This is from Paulus Alone. So on yesterday's show, I was talking about a story with EW where essentially Andy Serkis said that there is a Snoke prequel in some form. They discussed it with the directors. There's a story there, and he's been asked not to talk about it in case they want to delve into it later. And Paul says there, who the holy F wants more Snoke in a prequel? He's dead, killed like a biatch by his apprentice, so why should we ever care about Snoke? What the hell is going on with Lucasfilm these days? Who asked for a solo movie? Who wanted Luke Skywalker killed off like a fart in the wind? Meh, couldn't care less anymore. Or so I wish I could say. Sob. Okay, so that's actually not as mean as I thought it would be. I read the first part and was like, that's pretty fucking mean, Paul. But in either case, I mean, it's kind of funny. I agree with what he's saying here. What's going on with Lucasfilm? I mean, look, I'm one of those guys. I didn't ask for the solo movie. I am definitely not that excited about it, but it is what it is, man. I mean, I think there's a way to be critical of Lucasfilm and some of the decisions that they're making without being a total dick about it. And some of the moves that they're making, I mean, look, the announcement yesterday of the live action stuff with Jon Favreau, I mean, how can you not be excited about that? That's amazing. And hopefully that series will be going on for a long, long time, right? And so I'm pumped, man. I'm really, really pumped. I mean, these days with what they do with live action, you look at like Game of Thrones, you look at some of these really, really big shows, like at Westworld, they can make very good entertainment that comes out in that serialized fashion. And so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm still excited about episode 9. I didn't love everything that happened in The Last Jedi. I actually personally did like that Snoke died. I find myself in the camp of which I want more Snoke. But that's just me. So that's that mean comment. Let's go to this mean comment here. So this one I'm focusing on the Utacan comment here. This was on a video I did on Monday's show actually, where I was talking about Tony Stark losing an arm in Infinity War, and the comment reads, let's see here, you fucking shit. How about that spoiler in the title of the video, huh? Way to go there, shitstain. Oh, God. Well, first of all, it's not a spoiler because I think that according to the articles that came out yesterday, Tony Stark will not lose his arm. And by the way, I don't put spoilers in the videos. I mean, I try not to anyways. And I'm actually not a big fan. I am not a fan of the spoiler culture. If you're a fan of like Dragon Ball Super, I think you know what I'm talking about. This is sort of ruined. Some of the excitement from Dragon Ball Super for me is the fact that it tends to be a big thing on YouTube that we talk about the spoilers. And I remember when it happened several months ago, and some people blame Geekdom 101 or Master Media and these guys. I don't necessarily blame them. I blame the hundreds of thousands of people that click those videos and watch. I mean, that's my thing, right? Like, I just don't understand that. I don't understand why you would want that information. And the thing about Toei and that whole situation with them and just spoilers in general, I hope that the people that make this content, like the people that run these businesses and do these things, I hope that they come to a place where they understand how to better protect their fans out there that do not want that stuff spoiled. Because what ends up happening is even someone like me who doesn't want spoilers, like I'll go online and I'll see stuff and it's I can't tell if the person that made that content didn't look at spoilers. And so there are some big YouTubers out there, like I'm not going to call them out by name, but I believe that they go get spoilers and then they formulate theories based on those spoilers and then they put it out as content. So even someone like me who's not actively looking for spoilers can still get stuff spoiled online because of the culture, because of what's going on there. So I'm not a big fan of spoilers, never have been, don't like it. I didn't put spoilers in there. Now, there's this big, obviously the clickbait thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. Well, look, here's the thing. Once again, I don't blame the people that are doing it. I blame the people that are clicking on it because you guys click stuff that I call click-worthy, stuff that gets put out there that incentivizes you to be interested in the content. And the whole Tony Stark losing an arm thing, that was something that a lot of people were searching for. A lot of people were excited about. So that was in the title of the video. But yes, I appreciate your usage of the word shit stain and different things like that. But yeah, so anyways, let's go into the last one here. The last one, this has to do with Raylo. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm a Raylo shipper. I like Raylo. I think it's pretty interesting and dynamic that they have romantic feelings for each other, and yet they are on opposite sides of this conflict. They're probably going to have to kill each other. I think that's kind of interesting. So Stephanie, I'm not even going to try to say her last name, says, the stolen fanfic ship we had shoved down our throats. Raylo is Gaylo. I appreciate the rhyming, actually. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, so I wanted to put that on blast. The stolen fan ship. That's interesting. So if you don't know what's going on with the Raylo thing, here's what happened. A bunch of shippers passionately liked this idea. And then as they researched it to try to validate their opinions on it, they fell upon a whole bunch of evidence out there that suggests that this was Disney's plan from day one. With this new saga, this is what they were planning. So I don't know if I would call it a stolen fan fiction. I would say that the natural line of fan fiction and the shipping, just in this instance, happened to align with what Disney's vision for this big story was. So I don't think that it's stolen, and I don't know if it's being shoved down everyone's throat. I thought it was handled pretty subtly in The Last Jedi. I actually think it's the best part of that movie, their connection and what's going on with that. So I don't know. Just wanted to put that on blast, guys. But this was the show. This is what we do 5 days a week here. But we're live here. I've never actually done the show live. We attempted it earlier in the week. It didn't go well. So thank you to everyone who watched us live. If you thought this was cool, you want to hang out, I'm more than willing to talk with you guys. Now, what I want to do at the end of every show, except on Fridays where we do the mean comments, is that I take questions. So normally what I do is I grab questions from the comments. But if you guys are watching live and you want a question to be answered towards the end of the show, and I really try to keep the show between a half hour and 40 minutes. I don't like to go over 40 minutes. So at the end of the show, when you see us getting about to the 27, 28-minute mark on the stream, if you have a question, put it in the chat. I'd be more than willing to talk about what you guys want to talk about. That's part of my thing with this. I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about, be interactive with you and the whole bit. So I don't know. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to hit them on there. I'll hold on here for just a couple minutes here. Let me go. That's awesome. Otto Von Doom says, Jon Favreau can do no wrong except Iron Man 2. But that's just me. I have a soft spot for Iron Man 2. I didn't like it at first, but now I actually really appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool. Let's see here. Are they going with a completely new idea or using what he wrote at all? Conclusion's really going to extend on live action. Hearing that Lucasfilm is... Oh, okay. Interesting question. Tony, I'll address this question, and then we'll get out of here, okay? So check this out. Tony's asking about the 1313 Underground Star Wars series that George Lucas had over 50 scripts written for. Now, this was something that George was working on. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know if that was working there. Okay, so this had to do with the scripts that George wrote, right? They had like 50 scripts. He hired really good writers to write. It was this underground series. It's going to be bounty hunters. It's going to be hard edged. It was going to be more adult, right? And so this new television series, though it may play in the same time period, it's not going to use those scripts because it can't. Like, if it did, it would have to credit those writers. It would have to do all this stuff that was probably not going to fit easily into the new Disney canon. So I don't think that's going to happen. Also, Favreau's hired to write and executively produce. And as a writer, you don't want to take stuff that's already out there, that material that already exists. You want to do your own thing. And so I think that is what is going to happen in that series. But thank you guys very much for the question. What's my stance on the Rian Johnson trilogy? I'm still excited about it, but I wouldn't be mad if they canceled it because I understand where the fan base is at. I actually like The Last Jedi. I have some issues with it. Actually, I have a lot of issues with it, but I love it as a film. It's beautiful, and I felt like what it sets up is brilliant. But I'm not dumb. I understand where the fan base is at. If they canceled Ryan's trilogy, I'd be completely okay with it, especially when you consider, man, the Dan and Dave films and this Jon Favreau business, that is hype as hell. So I'm pretty excited about that. But anyways, thanks everybody who watched this show live and everybody who's going to watch it later. You guys are amazing. Thank you for all the support. Been doing the show for 2 weeks now. It's been super fun. Maybe go check out some other episodes if you're new here. Subscribe to the channel every day, Monday through Friday. We're going to break down the nerdy news that you care about here at Uncanny on the Nerdy News Rundown. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you guys on Sunday for Star Wars Sunday. And now I got to figure out how to